Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is The Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is F1 2019, it's episode number 11, and this week we are at Silverstone, ready for qualifying now. We're looking for overcast skies for the race. There was just little bits of rain during practice, but for the most part it did stay dry. Now, last race we had a couple upgrades set for this race weekend. One of them was good, the other one was not. The engine upgrade was the one that failed. We've already reinvested the points to make sure it'll be ready next week. And it was the chassis department where we had the new rear floor under tray that is now done. We do have an additional almost 800 points right now. I'd like to invest some of that. And this time we're going to go for the weight redistribution. Get our second upgrade done in this department. So that's all good. Now from here, I think we're looking at one major arrow, and we're still about 800 points shy of that. So it's going to be a little while. We might not have any upgrades coming next weekend, but at least for this race weekend, we've got 2 upgrades that'll be moving on to next time. And one of those is guaranteed, as it's the recovery powertrain one. In terms of the progress history, you can see we're closing that gap a little bit on Toro Rosso. But that midfield is still quite some distance ahead of us, and unfortunately for us, it looks like Renault just came up with a major upgrade package for this weekend that's putting them up towards the top, and Haas has just emerged out of that packed midfield to have a best of the rest status. And Ferrari, for the first time this season, even though Mercedes brought an upgrade, Ferrari's upgrade was bigger. They had a big engine upgrade this week that moved them even ahead of us. Ferrari is now top of the charts for the first time this season. But with that, let's go ahead and get into qualifying at Silverstone, the original Formula One race. Of course, track's very different than it was back then. Practice has been really good. I've had 0 bad laps, 0 major mistakes, and it's been a very, very clean race weekend. Very happy with the setup. And I've very much been midfield throughout. I don't think I've put in any laps that were slowest on the grid, so it'd be a real shame to do so now. As I think we're looking pretty good overall.
Heating up as we head into today's qualifying. Some impressive times showing up during the previous practice sessions. Anthony Davidson, do you think we can expect a similar level of skill to be showcased during today's qualifier?
Well, I certainly hope so. The competition here is extremely tight, and I think we might see some very close times today. Remember, practice isn't just about fastest lap times though. It's about optimization, it's about ratifying your decisions. No one's going to be sweating small mistakes here and there, but in qualifying that all changes. You need to nail that perfect lap or face the consequences, and believe me, that's a lot of pressure.
Throughout practice, I've been anywhere from 4 to 8 tenths up on my teammate George Russell. He hasn't been at the back either, except for one practice session. I think he was 20th by just a hair, and that was him on the hard compound, which I haven't run at all this weekend. So, in terms of the power unit, I'm actually in a position where I probably could use a replacement in the energy store, but the way I'm running, I might as well stick with it. I mean, it's at 67%. I theoretically shouldn't experience a problem this race. I'll get one more race out of it before we switch it, just to delay any potential of having to take a penalty later in the season. I'm already getting to that point where, we're on the last ICE and MCUK or MGUK, where somewhere in the not so distant future, we are going to have to replace those and take a grid penalty. And as we're starting to get up and out of last place qualifying territory, finally, that's a real shame, as those penalties will set us back and put us at the back of the grid. But with that, let's go ahead and go to track for one-shot qualifying. I've been very, very good on tire wear. I've been very, very good on fuel load and a lot of things here throughout this weekend. I do a lot of lifting and coasting. Let's see, we're still just about there with Hamilton. He's a little bit ahead. Well, not the cleanest first sector. See, we're getting enough through those areas that we're hanging in there. Those long, dragging corners, we're able to fight through them a little bit. Ooh, Leclerc now fastest at this point in the lap, but we're still right there. So Leclerc currently the potential pole sitter. And it still looks like it's Leclerc through the last turn. We really lost some in those last couple corners.
Excellent lap. We're really pleased.
It's still good though. 9th place. Wow. Okay. That's better than I expected. I figured we might be around 13, 14. That was not my cleanest lap at all.
Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
I definitely had another 10th or 2 in me. Maybe even more than that. So we're up there. We're competitive. And I noticed even in practice, at times, I was up there with similar lap times to Gasly to Bottas. Verstappen put in a pretty poor lap there, only in 7th. Lucas Weber ahead of him. But it is Charles Leclerc on the pole, just slightly ahead of Lewis Hamilton in his home race. Vettel will start in row 2 alongside Bottas. And the big six are very much split up, so you got Ferrari behind Ferrari, Mercedes behind Mercedes, Red Bull on 2 different rows, splitting the Alfa Romeos. And in all those scenarios, they're lined up one behind the other. And I'll be alongside Nico Hülkenberg in the Racing Point. And that just happened last race. Now, what about the rest of the field? To the back, Russell qualifies 19th ahead of Albon. Butler up in 15th. Pretty good run by him. Perez down in 16th. And Gio in his second race in Renault will start from P18. But that's a really good start for us. Let's hope I can run a clean race. Because like I said, in practice, I didn't push. There was a couple corners there that I really pushed to the limit. I didn't do that too much in practice. I ran good, clean laps over and over again, really with control of the car. And that is so nice, because it's been really difficult in this Williams to ever get the car in a good enough place to be able to drive comfortably, to drive within yourself and without pushing the limits too much. And it looks like it's time that I do finally pick up a rival. As you can see here, George Russell cleaned me out last time. We're finally starting to get excuse me, away from the back row and competitive. So if the car is competitive enough, I can finally take on a rival and see if we can start picking up some points there. But that's already another 165 R&D points, and we're sitting on 438. But of course, that next goal is to hit over 1,000 for a major upgrade. So we've got some work to do. I don't think it's going to happen this race weekend.
Well done. Very solid results. You're looking good for the race.
And speaking of, nothing else to do. Let's go ahead and get to it.
We're right back where it all began. The very first World Championship Grand Prix was held here at Silverstone in 1950, with Giuseppe Farina taking the top step of an all-Alfa Romeo podium. He earned 9 championship points that day on his way to the inaugural title. His winning total at the season's end, just 30 points. My, how times have changed. So let's see who can reach the top step of the modern podium today. The 3.6 miles of the Silverstone circuit in Great Britain is hallowed ground to the Formula One faithful. We have 18 corners that wrap around this former World War II airbase and some good passing opportunities at the end of the DRS zones. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Let's discuss Haas. They haven't had any retirements in the last 5 races. What do you think that says about the reliability of their car?
I think they can be fairly pleased with that record so far. The first thing any good car needs is a solid, reliable base with which to build on, and they seem to have that this season.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Vettel, Bottas, Pierre Gasly, and Faber, Verstappen, Raikkonen, the Professor, and Kevin Magnussen, Grosjean, Norris, Carlos Sainz, and Butler, Perez, Ricciardo, Antonio Giovinazzi, and George Russell. Albon and Nico Hülkenberg completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Hülkenberg moving back 10 spots on the grid with a grid penalty. It's one thing I've definitely noticed about F1 2019.
We're all relying on you to impress today.
There's a lot fewer grid penalties than there were in the F1 2018 game, where you had 3, 4, 5 drivers every race taking penalties. Excuse me. Okay, so it's a 13 lapper for this one at the 25% race distance. Looks like we could, qualify in the top 10, so we are restricted on that. We're going to have to just make do. In that case, I think we're all set already as it is. My goal for this one is to get in the points, stay in the points. If you saw the last episode, I got the points. I finished in the points for the very first time, but it was chaos when that rain fell. Now, I earned my position, but I didn't earn my finish. At least it didn't feel like it. So my goal today is to earn a points-paying finish. I don't mind if there's 1 or 2, maybe 3 flashbacks here and there, contact, first corner or 2, whatever it may be, as we're just getting running and spreading out. But I'd like to feel like it's an earned finish, like an earned top 10. I don't care if it's only 10th. I don't care if it's 9th. I don't care what position. But I know I have pace. And if I can keep it mostly clean, then it'll feel earned this time. And that'll make a big difference. Because that last race, just that chaos in the rain was... It took so much away from what could have been, what was my career best finish. And I was thrilled with it, and yet I wasn't, because it took so many flashbacks dealing with the rain, especially when it first really started making the track slick. No expectancy of rain today, so with that part out of it, I think we can expect a good, clean race. Let's see if I can actually keep it clean, though. Again, practice has been essentially flawless. So can we do that in the race? Can we get through it in traffic? But with that, we're in Silverstone. We're going to put up 5 red lights, and we're going to go racing. Williams home race. It's been a down couple of years. What can we do here? Oh, man, massive wheel spin. Massive wheel spin. Are you kidding me? I wasn't even... So unfortunate. So... Oh! Wow, okay. And then Grosjean brake checks me. I'm still going to have this wheel spin, so... Oof, Butler really cuts across me there. And my gearbox, right rear, somebody's in me. Oh, 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 no damage, no damage, no damage. Butler just... Oh, I get the warning? Oh, screw you, Butler.
Mind that front wing. It'll need replacing if it takes too much damage.
Okay, well, that was a bit chaotic of a start. I end up with massive wheel spin, even though I was definitely not flat out on there. Butler, come on, dude. Okay, well, I'm down to P12. That's the wheel spin. There at the start. That was not a good start. I did not think I was too heavy on the gas, but I certainly was. Hanging back a little bit more than normal. Heavy fuel load for one thing. And Butler has brake checked me a couple times already. Ricardo's got to run because I hung back. We'll go late on the brakes. Oh, he's got me. He's got me. Oh, can I squeeze him? Yes. He's still inside. But I've got the best position here. And we retain the position. And now I can start cruising because I've got some space. If I can keep Ricardo behind me, he's still there. Okay, we're closing Butler down.
Okay, take it easy on the car. We can't sustain this level of damage.
A little wide through Village.
Reducing our overall capacity. The more charge you hold, the faster that capacity will drop.
Alright, I've caught up to Butler. Ricardo's going with me. Decided not to fight it this time, but unfortunately I let off a little too much. Squeeze out Giovinazzi though.
DRS is now available.
Oh, no DRS? The detection zone was way back there. Ricardo, definitely the one with pace. Oof. I had to hit the brakes there. Did not hit the gearbox and Butler again, which I've already done.
please. We need to charge the battery.
Ah, shoot.
Your MFD.
I was trying to defend against Perez and I ended up braking too late, having problems in front. I do have damage to the wing as it is. This whole traffic thing is not good for me. Oof, walk up from Butler and Ricardo. And we touch wheels twice. Somehow stay out of trouble there. But this is way too much traffic. I am not a fan of this. There we go. Back ahead of Ricardo, and we're back to Butler being the one in front. Ricardo to my left side. Whoa! And he hits me. Squeeze him out though. Nothing he could do about it after he hit me.
Okay, tyres still looking good, Nick. Let's keep them that way for as long as we can. We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums.
Whoa!
We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn.
Ah, I really pushed that too far. Squeeze Butler out that time. Took me 2 tries, but I did it right the second time. And if I can keep these guys behind, I've got some clean air now. Oh yeah. Quickly open that gap up. 4/10 faster than I've been on the previous laps. Just needed a little bit of running room, was all.
Okay, we need some energy harvesting. Reduce ERS deployment.
Just trying to open a little gap behind me. Turn that down a little bit.
The gap to the car ahead is 7.5 seconds.
Ooh, gosh, huge gap. Norris is next. Gio's already gotten around him. little wide there. I've gotten much better at maggots and Beckett's than I was in F1 2017, where this is literally one of my worst tracks. And by F1 2018, it was like, oh yeah, okay, I'm okay. Finally. Track limit warning, maybe. Trying to take advantage of the fact that I've got some clean air finally, and open up this gap behind these guys.
We're going to box this lap. Push hard on the in-lap. We're leading our teammate by 5.6 seconds.
Now Magnussen in front of me.
This lap, please.
Save a lot of fuel lifting and coasting through there. Holding the gap steady. And this is a tricky one. Okay. We're in. Nobody behind us is in though. No one. And that's because they weren't in the top 10. We're pitting that a little bit sooner than everybody else. Oh, they're putting a new wing on. Oh, that'll make me faster, but that's going to cost me a lot of time. That's going to cost me a lot of time. Okay, let's go back to medium.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Okay, come out in P17. And again, we lost some time with the wing change. It's 5 seconds we got to make up. But if I can run faster than those guys I was running with and keeping the same time as the guys I was with than before, you add in a new wing and I'm going to be even faster. So I can make up this time. I can still get in the top 10. With the wing damage, I was outside of the top 10. And I was not gaining on them. But yeah, this turn, much easier. Okay. We're getting a lot better downforce now.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining. George is in the pits. George in the pits.
So nobody in front, nobody behind. That's about to change.
To the car behind is 3.2 seconds.
So I'm up to 14th now. Grosjean's still the one behind. Those guys are well back there.
has come in to fit the mediums. Car ahead, now running medium tyres.
I'm back to Magnussen being the car in front. That's who it was before I pit, so he has pit now. That means it's entirely possible that I've already recovered some of what I lost at least. And the guys that are still in front of me have not pit yet. There you go, 9 seconds. So I lost 2 seconds to Magnussen, but realistically I lost 5 seconds. So I've already pulled back 3 of the seconds that I lost. Oof. Too much curve that time.
To the car in front is 16.4 seconds.
And we're up to 12th. That time gap they were giving me was somebody in the pits. Giovinazzi is back to being the car behind us. And we're 1 position down from where we were. Hopefully there's still somebody who has not pit yet, because I think, realistically, we've recovered what we lost with the wing change already. And should be in the same net position, but faster than before. But can we make up those 5 seconds and 7 seconds to get into the points? Certainly my goal today. Currently 5 milliseconds off my best time. End up very close to the same time there. Okay, we're back up to P11. Hulkenberg now behind us. Norris just got passed by Magnussen, so we're back to Norris being the one. I think those two have been swapping positions throughout the race. Seven seconds, and it's Magnussen again, so we're back where we originally were. We've recovered the 5 seconds we lost with the wing change, but now I only have a couple laps to try to recover 7. So it looks like I might need a little help to get into the points, other than we just have an excellent 11th place finish. And then, if I hadn't been caught behind Devin Butler because of my own fault of getting too much wheel spin, or getting any wheel spin at all on the start. There you go. Russell was 5 seconds down. He's now 11 seconds down. Oh, really bad through there this time. Went too deep into turn 2.
Okay, gap ahead is
Out.
7 seconds. There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
Boy, going up to level 3 just ate right through that extra ERS, didn't it?
Caution, caution. Caution, caution, yellow flags ahead. No overtaking through the caution zone. Be careful until you see the greens. This is your final lap.
There, left side.
Final lap of the race.
Not for position though. I believe that might have been Butler, who they said was out of the session. Doesn't look like a crash, looks like a mechanical for him. Hamilton wins the race, so not Ferrari. Solid result, P11, but just missing the points.
This one at the start of the weekend, but you pulled through. Thank you.
Good result,
So Mercedes
but it could have been more.
race it was.
And yes, Butler held me up, and that's where I lost that time. But I really lost it
Well, I know it's a bit
right
of a
on the
boring
start line.
answer, but the truth is they simply had the best speed package on the day, and a driver who knows how to take advantage of that. It doesn't matter how much time you spend poring over the stats and planning strategies if you can't keep the pace, and our winner today showed they could do both.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
Well, Hamilton might have gotten the win, but it is two Ferraris joining him on the podium with Leclerc second, Vettel third. Leclerc and Vettel very, very close in the standings to one another. Mercedes was 1 point ahead of Ferrari going into this race. So it's really
Let's
tight
see
for
how
the
the driver
championship.
standings have changed. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Some amazing talents out on the track today.
Bottas did take
Who
fourth.
would you pick as your driver of the day?
Well, often my go-to would be a driver who's managed to pull off an impressive feat during the race. However, in this instance, I was more impressed by Nico Hülkenberg's clean driving throughout the event.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
1.3 seconds faster than Russell on my best lap time. And you can see I was just slightly faster than Magnussen with my best lap time. And where I had pulled it back, I lost some of that. I mean, I got back to 6.5 seconds. So remember, before the pit, we were 7 seconds down. We lost roughly 5 seconds, 6 seconds to change the wing. And we gained back 6 or 7 seconds over the rest of the race. So it was good. We were quicker, but we couldn't recover enough. So we stayed where we were after the initial running. And those guys, Ricciardo, Butler, Giovinazzi, right? The guys we were running with there for a while. They all ended up about 8-9 seconds behind us. And you could see that gap really opened. I mean, Hülkenberg got ahead of those guys, but they are right on his tail there. Giovinazzi was that next one. So 8 seconds was the gap behind. So we really did get moving, and we were definitely quicker, and we had enough pace. If I had not made that mistake in the beginning, looking at where Norris and Magnussen were head-to-head and where I had qualified, I probably would have been 9th. So one little mistake at the beginning, and I only had, what, 2 flashbacks throughout the whole race? 3? No, I think I had 2 right at the start, right? And then I had 1 later in the race. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. That was a respectable finish. My goal, though, was to get into the points, and I came up just short on that. So, mixed bag. Good race. Not quite good enough. So, Hamilton is 33 points clear of Vettel, 5 points clear of Leclerc. Bottas really struggling down in P5. And in the Constructors, Mercedes, 6 points now is the gap. So they do pick up 5 additional points. I think Hamilton did have the fast lap of the race. Red Bull now sitting on an even 200. Alpha on an even 60. Toro Rosso and myself, the Williams team, we sit still at the back of the grid. I nearly made that 5 points, but not quite. Still, good result nonetheless. But that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. And remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe. And tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Ooh, extra points. Happy result by the team. That's good.
That's a great result. You did really well.
Bye for now.
You can have any complaints with that performance.